All right, good morning. I came into 3 motions that I did not have when
I'm not gonna lie, Kathy. I might have accidentally clicked it too. I didn't stay in it, but I clicked it. It was like a knee-jerk reaction. Catnip, how do you know? Are you cheating too? Okay, is there any of us that haven't cheated? I'm doing good. How are you? I hope that you guys had an amazing weekend. Happy belated Mother's Day. Halsey, Halsey got us. She didn't cheat. And I'm sorry, but my FYP has been full of nothing but Karen Reed and Brian Kohlberger. Could only watch so much Brian Kohlberger, but yeah. It made me like, I was like so close to breaking and diving down the rabbit hole. Oh my God. This is so hard to not do. All right. Yeah, it's like you can't help it. It's really weird. Thank you, Ruth. Alrighty. Let's hear what these motions about, the 5 motions.
I checked email before coming to court today, so I'll hear you quickly on these. I've had a chance to read them, so Mr. Brennan, I'll hear you.
You and me both, Sandra. I'm just saying I might have accidentally clicked it this morning, and when I opened TikTok the other day, it opened on a live, so I didn't click it, it just opened that way, but I didn't stay.
Today, focus on the Bowden ones. We can focus on the
It was good, thank you. How was yours?
Later.
My motion, the memorandum on Bowden, just iterates my objections continuously at sidebar, that not all evidence is admissible, characterization of evidence is not admissible, and the defense should have the ability and intention to follow up with substantive
Hank, it's Monday. Sit the hell down. You got all week.
proof if they're going to ask a question. It's not limitless. Bowden is wide parameters to ask the investigator about their state of mind, about the scope of the investigation, but it has boundaries of reasonableness. And my earlier objections about offering information that go beyond Bowden, delve into third-party, inadmissible evidence.
I forgot to
Those
set
objections
it up too.
would compel me to draft this motion. And I can continue and will continue to object during the case, but once the questions are asked, if they're improper, the jury hears them, it inflames the jury. And without a basis and an intention to follow it up with substantive proof, the question should not be asked.
So the one point I want you to focus on, Mr. Brennan, is the specific evidence regarding materials that Sergeant Buchanan has not been able to look at.
You want me to?
Is that something we can do here in open court, or based on the protective order? Is that something that should be done at sidebar?
Sidebar.
All right, why don't you come up, Mr. Jackson?
Now, since I clicked it just to check on it this morning, I know that this is the part that they have a break. So we could just go right the hell on ahead because they're in a break and we can't hear it because it's muted. Yeah. Thank you, Julie.
Said yes or not affirmatively. Did anyone happen to see, hear, or read anything about this case since we left here?
Anyone have any confessions to make?
Everyone said no. Thank you. Could we have Sergeant Buchanan again?
You missed
please?
your hubby, I know.
Mr. Jackson, can go to the podium.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Did anyone's notification actually work? Did it tell you guys that I was live, or is it glitching still? You don't. No. Hopefully not in the text message kind of way. Okay, good. Thank you. I just had to know because it hasn't been working. It's been going in and out.
Sergeant, I'll briefly remind you, you have the rules. Thank you.
Well, here's my face. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Jackson,
Thank you.
whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Sergeant.
Oh, I got Trump.
Good morning.
I'd like to ask you, just to start off with, at some point during the course of your investigation, did you become aware that a snowplow driver had reported having seen a Ford?
Holly, we start late. This is the start. This is him just asking the first question. We start late so we could skip forward. We call it patience with parameters.
Edge being moved into a location in front
Good
of
morning.
34 Fairview sometime in the early morning hours of January 29th, 2022?
We learned about a plow truck driver. I don't believe his recollection was as you described, though.
Do you
Thank you.
do you remember him mentioning a Ford Edge?
Yes,
Okay. And do you remember him saying that the Ford Edge had been moved? He had passed by, it wasn't there. At some point, he passed by again, and it was there, impeding his plow route.
yes.
Okay. What is your best memory about when he said he believed the Ford Edge? Sorry, I guess a better way to put it is, when did he say he first saw the Ford Edge in place in front of 34 Fairview?
I don't remember
Thank
exactly.
you
I know
for
it
the
was
follow.
the middle of the night. My not adopting your narrative was the fact that he saw it being moved there.
Understood. I figured that. I clocked that as soon as I said it. He didn't see it moved. He saw it. He saw 34 Fairview without it there. Then about an hour later, it was there.
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Would about 3:30 in the morning sound right to you in terms of what he reported, in terms of the time that he saw it there?
Ooh, they're going high for the flash gold. They want us to get the hand heart by 34 different people. That's an awful lot.
It sounds right, but I'm not sure of the exact time. My report would reflect the accurate
Thank
time.
you.
Fair enough. Let me see if I can grab that.
Thank you, Elisa. Thank you, Robin. This will be our 13th if we hit it right. This is 13. Hi, how are you?
Let me ask this.
Thank you,
It's
thank
a very
you.
lengthy report. Instead of making you sit there and wait, let me just ask this. Do you remember him saying that he had first plowed the
We
area
might be able to
free
do
of the
it.
Ford Edge? In other words, first passed in front of 34 Fairview around 2:30 in the morning?
It's okay, Kathy, don't worry.
Does that sound right?
Thank
I
you.
believe his dispatch time for the plowing of the roads that evening was 2:30, but I would have to look at my report.
That's fine. And then it was
Thank you, Glenn.
sometime subsequent there too that he saw the Ford Edge in place, maybe an hour later?
Sounds about right, again.
Okay. Did you take any investigative steps when you learned about this snowplow driver to determine who, if anyone, might have owned a Ford Edge associated with
Cheers.
34 Fairview?
It's the hand heart where you make the heart with your fingers. That's the goal for today, the flash goal they sent out. 23 more.
I did not know.
But it has to be by 23 people who haven't sent them.
Did your investigation
weird.
ever reveal that the
Thank
Albert
you,
family
Rhonda.
actually had a Ford Edge at the time?
Yes.
Another
I
connection.
want to shift gears for a second to One Meadows, if I could, and ring video evidence associated with One Meadows. You testified that on direct examination that there was no video from Ring at or around the time 12:36 a.m. When Miss Reed's SUV returned back to One Meadows. Do you remember that testimony?
Yes,
Thank you.
You did receive a search warrant returned from the Ring Corporation in furtherance of a search warrant executed by Trooper Proctor, correct? Former Trooper Proctor.
evidence was returned by Ring, yes.
And in addition to the actual video recordings, there was also an activity log that was returned associated with that time and that location from the Ring
That was so pretty. Thank you. That was so cute.
Corporation, correct?
There was a key log identifying each video that was provided by the time and date when the video was recorded. It's not an activity log per se for the account. It's strictly a key describing the video,
Thank you,
telling you what time the
Terrified.
video was recorded.
During the entirety of your investigation, was there any evidence uncovered at all that Ms. Reed had accessed the account information associated with that Ring account?
No evidence could be provided by Ring documenting that activity.
Thank you, Lindsay.
But there is evidence that someone had accessed the account through John O'Keefe's
Hey.
cell phone, correct?
I am not aware of that.
Are you
I just heard like the sound of the floorboard creaking right outside the door. That is creepy.
aware that after John O'Keefe's cell
Thank
phone was
you.
recovered by Massachusetts State Police, someone at Massachusetts State Police actually opened the Ring app on his cell phone?
Yes,
Who is the person who opened and accessed the Ring app on John O'Keefe's cell phone?
I'm not 100% sure.
Is there anything you are sure of, sir? Anything at all?
May I have just a moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Like literally anything? No. No, this is the defense. This is Mr. Jackson.
At a report, perhaps.
Yes,
May I approach?
Yes.
And this is the same witness that was for the past 3 or 4 days of trial. This is good old Yuri from the state police. And when I say good, I don't mean good. It's the opposite. In my opinion, of course.
If you could take a look at that 3-page report and tell me if that refreshes your recollection.
Anybody want to take a guess at who did the report? Anybody? It's the prosecution's case right now. They haven't rested. But yeah, it's still the prosecution's case. One thing I heard is they're not going to be calling Proctor. I really hope it when it's the defense's case that they call him. One second. Hey, babe. I need him to open my water bottle because it's got ice stuck in it, so I can't get no water. And he tightened it, and it's always too tight. I can't get it undone. Ugh. I mean, I would be surprised if it wasn't Proctor, because his hand has literally been on everything. Six to 8 weeks.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
6 to 8 weeks approximately.
Sergeant, having looked at this report, does that refresh your recollection as to who may have accessed that Ring app?
Yes, that report is authored by Michael Proctor, and it says that investigators accessed the Ring application.
Thank you.
Aaron, the straw is blocked, is what I'm saying.
I want to show you one other document, if I could.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I've just handed you what purports to be the search warrant return for
Yes,
the Ring, from the Ring company,
We just start later in the day to get through the breaks faster.
correct?
Yeah, we need 21 from
I gotta take a look
21
through all
different
of it.
Of
people.
course. Take your time.
Do I have enough on my backup? Wait. Bless you. There, I had enough to send one, so that's one less. He's gonna be having a sneezing fit. He gets really bad allergies. No.
Thank you, Sergeant. Have you had an opportunity to review that document?
I have.
Does it indicate that, in addition to several other files, there is a
I
login
heard it
session
too.
report that was produced by the Ring Corporation as well? It's highlighted on that page.
Number 4 is highlighted with one Excel file containing login session information.
Thank you. Mayor Pro?
I think we need a cough tracker, someone that keeps tracks of when the coughs happen so we know if they were during pivotal points. I mean, it's kind of hard to ignore it at this point.
Yes.
And again, just to
Thank you, Julie.
make sure I'm very clear about this, nothing from the Ring Corporation suggested or intimated that Ms. Reed actually accessed any of that Ring account information, correct?
The information provided did not indicate that, no.
Thank you.
So who wants to volunteer as tribute?
I want to ask you a couple of questions
What?
about your testimony on direct examination related to your trip to the hospital and your observation specific to Mr. O'Keefe's right arm. You indicated that you saw bruising on his right arm in addition to the abrasions, the parallel abrasions that you described, correct?
I believe bruising is very similar to abrasion.
Okay, that's my question. Can we, Your Honor, with the court's permission, can we show Exhibit 1? It's already been introduced.
Sorry.
Is this a fair and accurate depiction of what you saw in terms of the condition of Mr. O'Keefe's arm while at the hospital, if not exactly like this?
Yes, it is.
Okay. What did you mean when you said you saw bruising on his arm? What were you talking about?
Thank
I
you.
actually indicated bruising on his right hand, the back of his right hand.
Okay, fair enough. From his wrist, when I say arm, can we agree, at least for this purpose for the purposes of this discussion, that I mean from the wrist up to the shoulder? Did you see any bruising from the wrist to his shoulder?
I saw exactly what's depicted there with the abrasions and lacerations.
Okay.
Thank you, Ken.
You know what lividity is, correct?
I do.
Okay. Describe for the jurors what lividity is.
Lividity is the pooling of blood inside the body as
And have you tried to cover the screen from your side? Thank you, Tam. Welcome to the team.
a deceased individual falls or is positioned naturally with gravity, blood begins to settle in the lowest portions of the body. If you're laying face down, it'd be your face. It also contours to the imprint or the force that's exerted on the body from below. If someone's deceased on TV remote control, you can see the remote control, the buttons underneath from the pressure.
So it's a bluish, purplish discoloration of the skin, not from an impact, but from the pooling of blood after the heart stops, correct?
That's correct.
Do you see an area at the upper arm that the skin looks discolored in addition to the abrasions that we see?
I'm sorry, I was looking at that one.
Oh, sure, I'm sorry, yes, right up toward the upper biceps, triceps area.
I see that area, yes.
Okay, is that consistent with lividity rather than bruising?
I would not agree with that, no.
You believe that that's a bruise?
I believe that that's a laceration.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about the discoloration of the skin, the reddish purplish hue of the skin, separate and apart from the abrasion, from the abrasions or lacerations to the skin. The discoloration, do you see that discoloration or no?
I do not know.
You do not?
I do not know.
Okay, we can take that down. As you sit here today,
Sorry, guys. TikTok has certain rules.
you're not suggesting that
Okay,
you
go
saw bruising from the wrist to the shoulder on John O'Keefe's arm?
Nothing that stood out to me.
Okay.
I observed lacerations and abrasions.
All right, thank you. I want to shift gears one more time and ask you about your trip to Dighton and the seizure of the SUV. You testified that you seized the SUV somewhere, I think your testimony on direct examination was somewhere around 4:15, 4:17, something like that, correct?
Yes, sir.
Does 4:12 sound like it could be a reasonable time that SUV was actually seized in Massachusetts State Police custody?
It could be reasonable. I'd have to refer to the video evidence that, and then also the exact time that we advised the defendant that we are going to be seizing it. I guess it could be argued that that's when it was seized. Even we had the intent to seize it right there.
Right. Took the key fob, went outside, had a had a tow truck driver actually put it onto the back of a flatbed. Ultimately, it was transported, correct?
Correct.
And you became aware at some point that there was video evidence, you just referenced it, video evidence of that, I'm going to call it seizure process. Is that right?
Yes.
And that video evidence had a timestamp on it,
I
correct?
agree.
Yes.
Okay. You're also aware, as the supervisor of Michael Proctor, that he swore under oath in multiple affidavits in support of search warrants that the SUV was seized at 5:30 p.m., correct?
Yes.
Thank you for the follow.
And you knew at the time, because you were actually there, and you knew when the vehicle was seized, that stating under oath in an affidavit that it was 5:30 p.m. and not 4:12 p.m., that was a false statement, correct?
There's a discrepancy in time there, yes.
Did you
Thank you for
take
the
any
finding.
action, you yourself as a supervisor, did you take any action to correct that false or misleading state? Let me ask it a different way. Did you take any action to correct that time to the accurate time of 4:12 in any of the affidavits that you became aware of?
No, the actual time of the seizure through the video, we learned much later. So the approximate time, 5:30, although inaccurate, I did not take any action to correct it, no.
And you received that video as a production from the defense. You did not have access to that video, correct?
Yes.
And so at the time that Michael Proctor actually wrote and drafted these affidavits and swore to them under oath, he did not know that a video existed, correct?
Objection.
And you have to word it differently.
Sure.
Did he
At the
know?
time that let me ask it a different way. At the time that you reviewed his declarations under oath, you did not know that a video existed.
No, we did not know.
So what you mean to say is you got caught, right? Yeah, fix your clip tie.
If I may have just a moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Hi, Stacy. How are you? Thank you. Thank you. It is a very interesting error, isn't it? He's drinking a
ask
nice
you about-
Fiji bottle of water.
Something that was brought up on direct examination,
I knew you were going to say that, Catnip.
sustained findings as it pertains to you. You've already talked about the fact that, Sergeant, you're a supervisor and we're a supervisor back in January of 2022.
It's still not gone. I'm so sorry. I hope you feel better.
Moving forward over Trooper Proctor, correct?
Yes.
Generally speaking, as a supervisor, your job is to properly and professionally supervise,
Thank you,
show some
Samantha.
authority over those in your charge. Is that right?
Yes.
Michael Proctor was in fact a trooper in your charge.
Yes.
Nice, Jody.
And you would agree that your supervision has a direct impact on the character and quality of the subordinate investigators that you supervise.
Yes.
The whole point of having supervision and a chain of command is to establish a certain amount of, for lack of a better phrase, quality control of the subordinates.
Yes.
That would also include quality control over the subordinates' investigations.
Yes.
On August 17th, 2022, you were in a group text with the following individuals.
Does anybody else think that he seems far more acceptable today, meaning he's not arguing things that are obvious? Maybe they told him, you know, when it's obvious, just admit it.
Michael Proctor,
You noticed
Trooper
it too?
Gronkowski, a lieutenant named Fanning, and a trooper named DiCicco, D-I-C-I-C-C-O, correct?
It's our
Yes.
ESPN. I wonder how he hasn't been fired yet. That's what I want to understand. Thank you, Sandra.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes.
You better.
I'm handing you
It is beautiful.
a document. Can you tell me if you recognize that document?
Wait, your doctor just called you at the same time that I just got a text from my doctor to check my mind chart. That is weird. Happy Monday. We will. Don't tell us, no spoilers, please. The amount of sidebars they take will catch up. Mine are too. Okay, that's creepy. Mine are too. My white blood cell count is very high too. It's been elevated for quite a while. Is it bigger than it was last week? Meaning the insanity level.
I recognize parts of it.
You saw that document on direct examination. I think you were shown the same document, correct?
It was different parts of it, but same. It's inclusive of within this document.
Okay. Let's start with this. You indicated that you did not see Michael Proctor's name on that document, correct?
Sure is. Just perjure yourself like everybody else. Thank you, Lisa Marie.
Correct. His name is not on here.
But you do recognize that as being reflective, accurately reflective of the text chain that you were on August 17th, 2022, that group chat.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Glam.
I'm going to do this a little bit backward, but bear with me. You do see the name Kukowski, correct?
Right.
I do.
You do see the name Fanning, correct?
100%.
I do.
You do see the name DeChico, correct?
I do.
And you do see the name Buchanan, correct?
No, it's misspelled, but I know they're probably referencing me.
Okay. The only other text or
Referencing you?
person texting on that chain is a code, a lengthy, almost like a URL code with no name, correct?
Yes, you're right.
And
Yes.
the only person that I didn't name, whose name I did not read off, it's obvious on that document, is Michael Proctor, correct?
Correct.
So deductive reasoning tells you that that is, the code is Michael Proctor. Is that right?
I would agree with you, yes.
Okay. In that text chain,
That's my question, too.
it starts with Trooper DeChico sending a photograph, correct?
No.
May I approach?
Yes.
Good morning, Peachy. He makes cops look bad. It's
You
people
turn to
like him that
page
give the good cops a
268,
bad image.
please. Do you see a photograph there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, fair enough. There were some texts between and among the group that preceded this photograph, correct?
Yes.
I want to start on this date, August 17, 2022, with this photograph. This photograph was sent by Trooper DeChico to the group, correct?
It possibly appears that way. I really can't. I mean,
Your Honor, with the
Yes.
permission, I'm not sure this document has been marked. I'd like to have this marked and
Sure,
admitted.
we'll mark it for ID.
I'd actually like to have it marked and admitted. There's certain things I'd like to show.
What's Cornwall's position on that?
I have no objection to admission, but not in this form. It needs to be redacted.
Can you do it?
What I intend to do, I can do with one photograph, if I may have a moment with counsel.
Okay.
Hank has to be complicated. He has to complicate everything. Can't be easy with Hank. Who is that a picture of? They haven't showed it yet, but you would see him over Hank's shoulder, and it was a picture of somebody.
Right, thank you.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I'd like to publish just one page of what's been marked for identification. I'm sorry, I would ask that it be marked, the entire document be marked for identification.
Yes.
you're gonna need this.
Now he's all cooperative. Yuri,
And
why are
with the
you
court's
so
permission, I would
cooperative?
ask to display or to publish page 2683 of that document.
So are you admitting into evidence, page 263?
I would
Do you
just,
have a separate one rather than tearing it out of what's been marked for
I can-
identification?
I can take it out of this copy.
He's so compliant today. Like, it's throwing me off really bad. That tells me that there's something big coming.
Can you redact it before it's admitted, please?
It's been redacted.
Of course, all opinions.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hey, Cindy, how are
So we're talking
you?
about the same thing, Sergeant. I've just handed you a page that's been marked Exhibit 116. Do you recognize that as being a copy of one of the multiple pages in the document that you're holding that's been marked for identification as FF?
I am.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, if we could publish that single page, please.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie, I spent the entire weekend looking forward to a Monday.
Is that a photograph that was sent by Trooper DeChico to the group?
According to this document, yes.
Who is depicted in that photograph?
The big story, Mr. David Yannetti, criminal defense attorney.
Do you see that person in court?
Yes, I do.
Where is he seated and what is he wearing?
He's seated right there wearing a blue tie and a dark suit, white shirt.
Thank you. We can bring the lights up, Your Honor.
Show what he indicated. We don't know what there means.
In response to, and going back to the multi-page document FF, in response to Trooper DeChico's
That's my thought.
photograph that he sent to the group, you responded to that photograph, did you not?
Yes, this document indicates so, yes.
And you responded by laughing at it, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
Well, that's what it says, or that's what you did?
I don't remember.
Trooper Proctor
Here
then,
we go. I
former
jinxed
Trooper
it.
Proctor, Michael Proctor, then responded, correct?
That's what it says here, yes.
And he responded to the group, funny, I am going through his retarded client's phone, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
Michael Proctor then responded again. Is that right?
Yes.
He wrote, no nudes so far, correct?
That's what it says, yes.
Michael Proctor responded yet again. Is that right?
That's correct.
And in reference to Mr. Yannetti's photograph, he wrote, I hate that man. I truly hate him. Correct?
That's what it says.
You are just stubborn and defiant to your core, huh?
There's a trooper by the name of Moore, M-O-O-R-E, correct?
There is.
And he disliked Trooper Proctor's phrase, his statement, no nudes so far, correct?
That's what it says.
Did that indicate to you that Moore was disappointed that Trooper Proctor, Michael Proctor, had not found naked pictures of Miss Reed as yet?
I don't know what that indicated for Mr. Moore.
And then you
I jinxed us.
responded to the phrase, funny, I'm going through his retarded client's phone, correct?
I acknowledged that text message being sent.
You acknowledged it by liking it, correct? With a thumbs up.
I acknowledged it by responding with a thumbs up emoji.
The fact is, Trooper Proctor
So, yes.
told you, his supervisor, in this series of text messages, that he was going through Miss Reed's phone. Is that right?
Correct.
And he also informed you, his supervisor, that he was going through her phone looking for nudes or naked pictures of her on her phone, correct?
He did not tell me that he was going through naked pictures, for naked pictures through the phone.
He wrote, no nudes so far, right?
That is what is written, yes.
What did you think he was looking for when he wrote that phrase?
I don't know what he was looking for.
What would be a reasonable interpretation of what Michael Proctor was looking for when he wrote, "No nudes so far"?
I don't know.
Motorcycles, handbags, pair of shoes, or naked pictures of Miss Karen Reed?
His mission was to go through the phone to look for digital evidence that's related to the crime. The fact that he wrote "no nude so far," I cannot comment on.
You're saying that's related to the crime, sir? Try again.
You cannot comment on, or you don't want to comment on.
I don't know what he was looking for in that specific time.
You certainly did nothing. You took no action to stop him from potentially looking for naked pictures of my client, correct?
That's correct.
In fact, last week you testified that in your view, Michael Proctor handled himself in this investigation with integrity. That's what you said, correct?
That's correct.
Do you stand by that testimony?
The investigation was handled with integrity and honor.
Do you stand by your testimony that Michael Proctor conducted himself during the course of this investigation with integrity?
Yes, I do.
He also
serious?
called her retarded, correct?
That is what's written.
That's what's written? That's a very passive way of saying it, Sergeant. That's what's
Clearly
written.
not, Taylor.
That's what he wrote.
That's what he wrote.
You remember last week he said, do I need to get a dictionary for you to look it up? Clearly they haven't gotten him that dictionary yet, because...
And that's what you read.
I have no memory of reading that. I acknowledged him going through the phone on my Apple Watch. I have no memory of him writing retarded on a text message.
And you'll agree that that is one of the most vile and insensitive and incendiary terms one could use in modern society. Retarded, correct?
That is correct.
You want to try that integrity again, sir?
And in fact, through your response to that vile phrase, you encouraged it because you liked it with a thumbs up, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Did you encourage that statement by Michael Proctor by liking it with a thumbs up?
Go ahead, say no.
I don't know if it encouraged him, but so I cannot speak to
But that's
that.
what
We start late every day so we could fast forward through all the sidebars they have. It's called Patience with Parameters. This is today's, we're just a little behind.
you did.
I acknowledged the text message being sent.
I want to be clear, these text messages were sent to you by your direct report, by your direct subordinate, correct?
That's correct.
And there was even someone on that text chain who was more senior than you, Lieutenant Fanning,
Good
right?
afternoon, Barbie.
That's correct.
Michael Proctor was both your partner and the lead investigator on this case when he wrote that, correct?
He's a subordinate, and he was the case officer.
And you still
This
want to say
thread-
integrity?
Text thread contains communications between a subordinate, the person you call the case officer. By the way, let me ask you another question. Did you ever, during the course of the investigation in which you were a part, the sustained findings, the internal affairs investigation, did you ever review Colonel Noble's determinations about your subordinate, Michael Proctor?
Objection.
Did you review them?
No, Your Honor, I did not.
Liar! You saw how the way he was going to answer that, and you could see that it was a lie.
What would Colonel
Immediately.
Noble call Michael Proctor's title in this case? You think he'd call him the case officer or the lead investigator? What is your experience with Massachusetts State Police in that regard?
Objection.
Sustained.
Sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I just, yeah.
Notwithstanding the fact that a subordinate was on this text chain and a supervisor to you. Was Lieutenant Fanning one of your supervisors?
Yes,
Notwithstanding the fact that a subordinate was on this text chain and one of your supervisors was on this text chain, you felt comfortable enough within this group of law enforcement to actually like when the subordinate refers to a suspect as retarded, correct?
I acknowledged the text message with a thumbs up emoji.
Do you believe that?
Just go ahead and say what we know you're probably going to say. It was just acknowledging that I sent it. Thumbs up means got it. That's what he's going to say.
Well, let me ask you another question, a predicate question. You were also comfortable enough with that text chain to receive information that your subordinate was looking for naked pictures on a suspect's phone, a woman, no less. Correct? You took no remedial action against Trooper Proctor for that, correct?
No, I did not, no.
Do you believe, as you sit here, that that was a misuse of power and authority by a Massachusetts state police officer?
Hell yes.
By myself or
No,
somebody else?
by Michael Proctor.
Misuse of what?
Misuse of authority and power. To go through a suspect's phone, to get her phone using the authority and the power vested in that officer by the community members. That's the power that you've derived, correct? You work for the public. Would you agree?
Sustained.
Do you believe it was a misuse of his authority and power to use Massachusetts State Police Authority to go through her phone and look for naked pictures of her?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you believe it was a misuse of authority or power to go through her phone and potentially look for nudes?
Objection.
Sustained.
Let me ask it differently. Did you think his text was appropriate?
I don't remember reading that text.
As you sit here now, do you think that text is appropriate?
No, it is not.
Do you think it's professional?
No, it is not.
Do you think it shows integrity?
Think really sure if this is the hill you want to unalive on, sir.
That text message does not show integrity.
Do you think it shows honor? A word I expect you hold dear.
That text message does not show honor.
I feel like we're in a
On
therapy
October
session.
15th, 2022, you completed a performance review of Michael Proctor, correct?
That's correct.
Specifically, you were asked to rank his, quote, oral and written communication skills, end quote, correct?
Correct.
That's part of an overall evaluation and performance review, is that right?
Yes, overall 90-day quarterly annual review.
You were specifically asked to rank whether he effectively would whether members, your subordinates, would effectively communicate with others,
Aaron.
both within and outside the department, in oral and written form, correct?
That's correct.
And you rated him as exceptional, a number 4 rating out of 5, correct?
That's correct.
You actually went on to write and comment on Michael Proctor, and you wrote, quote, Trooper Michael Proctor displays professional demeanor, composure, dignity, and respect during the performance of his duties, and especially during his interactions with the public. This is seen during interviews with witnesses, suspects, as well as victims and their families, end quote. That was a statement you wrote about Michael Proctor, correct?
That is correct.
And this is after the text chain that we've just been talking about, where he calls Miss Reed retarded and references looking for nude photographs of her, correct?
That is correct.
You guys should see the look that Aaron just gave me. He's in the kitchen and I'm in the doorway in the office. When he heard that part, he just gave me a look like, what the hell?
Was your statement in that evaluation true or false?
It was true.
The prosecutor will not be calling Proctor to the stand. They will not be. The defense have not said.
You knew Michael Proctor's proclivities, obviously. He told them to you, correct?
The term proclivities, what
You
does that mean?
knew what he tended to do, what he wanted to do through his own comments, to look for nudes on a woman's phone, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
You were aware, sir, that he had received evidence in a case, evidence that doesn't belong to him, belongs to the Massachusetts State Police, at least at that point, correct? The cell phone.
I was aware that he received a cell phone, yes.
And he used that power and the authority to go through that cell phone and look for nudes of my client, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
Why is that sustained?
During the same course of your evaluation, you were also asked to evaluate his investigative ability, correct?
That's correct.
You rated him the highest standard in the Massachusetts State Police, outstanding, a 5, correct?
That's correct.
And you went on to write about Michael Proctor in the commentary below that rating to justify it. Is that right?
That is accurate, yes.
You wrote, quote, Trooper Proctor has had a high-profile caseload with a lot of eye and pressure from external sources during the first day of the investigation. He handled himself and all the case with utmost professionalism and competence. He is able to investigate his case thoroughly and with strict integrity, end quote. Correct?
We have to question what you think integrity is and professionalism, sir.
Correct.
Which quarterly review was this?
This is the same one, October 2022. Is that right? Those are your comments.
That sounds very accurate. I just was not sure which quarterly review that was for.
Professionalism?
Yes.
Why would you guys report me for hate speech when I'm clearly not speaking and it's someone on the stand and they're trying to say that someone says something that they shouldn't and they're clearly against it? Why would you guys report that? Seriously. It's really simple. If you don't like a live, scroll up or down and that's your way out. It's really that simple. Yeah, I got reported for hate speech. Today is not the day. We've been waiting for this day since last week. Y'all just need to go on somewhere else.
You believe that he acted in accordance with the highest standards of professionalism?
During his 90-day performance, yes.
This one was a report.
And you didn't just say he displayed professionalism, you said utmost professionalism, correct?
Yes.
Competence? Do you
Yep.
believe he displayed competence?
Yes.
And not just integrity, but he conducted himself, as you put it, with strict integrity. Is that right?
That is correct.
Did it show integrity in your view when your subordinate Michael Proctor called Miss Reed retarded?
Thanks, guys.
Objection.
It
I
does.
believe that as a U.S. citizen, he has the right to comment. That's his First Amendment right. We uphold the Constitution, and it's unfortunate, unprofessional what he said in the private text message communication. He might have been voicing his frustrations. I cannot speak for Michael Proctor. It is unprofessional and unfortunate that he said that.
This was not, Sergeant Buchanan, a private text message conversation. This was with his boss and 4 or 5 other individuals, one of whom was your boss. Correct?
Correct.
This was a communication intended for and received by members of his unit in furtherance of his investigative authority, correct?
Sadly, I can't tell you exactly where we're at because it doesn't give us a timer when we're rewatching live, and it's still live. I honestly can't. I'm sorry.
It was amongst members of the unit.
He was updating his boss about what he was doing in furtherance of the investigation, going through her phone, correct?
No, I would disagree with you on that. This was a group chain, text message chain that we were discussing private matters in our personal lives.
Private matters, including going through Miss Reed's phone?
That is unfortunately shared on that group text.
So in other words,
Did they? Okay. Thank
to
you.
the public, he holds one face in private conversations with you and your colleagues within the unit. He shows a completely different face, private face, correct?
Objection.
Sustained.
No.
Why is that
Cannot be
sustained?
You said that you believe that he has a constitutional right, a First Amendment right, to call Miss Reed a suspect in his official investigation, in his official capacity as a Massachusetts state trooper, to call her retarded. That's your justification?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you justify his statement, that vile statement?
I do not know.
Do you think it's appropriate, given the fact that he has a First Amendment right to say whatever he wants?
No, I do not.
Do you think there actually might be members of the community, parents, siblings,
Objection.
children?
Mr. Jackson, I'm going to exclude that question as argumentative. Move on.
You wrote in your report, if I may have a moment, Your Honor, you wrote in your report about his conduct. He shows composure, dignity, and respect during the performance of his duties, and especially during his interactions with the public. He has a duty to the public, to the community that he serves, correct?
Yes, he does.
Just like you have a duty to the public and the community that you serve. Is that right?
That is correct.
Do you think community members might take offense to the use of the
Objection.
word retarded?
Sustained. It's argumentative again, Mr. Jackson. Please don't do that.
Can you ask your husband to quit using unsafe TikTok words in court of laws, please? He's gonna
He
get
didn't
me in
just put
trouble.
it, that derogatory comment. He didn't just put it, or he didn't just say it, correct? You talked about the First Amendment.
Objection.
Sustained.
I'm not finished with my question, if I could.
All right, so just ask a question.
Sure.
No comments first, okay?
My question is, did he just say the word? Or did he go further than just saying it?
Objection.
Okay, we've gone through this. Move on, please.
The fact is, Sergeant, you put it in writing and you liked it, correct?
I acknowledge the text message. I never saw the vile term.
You actually put a thumb on it. That means you saw it, sir. Whether or not it registered might be something else, but you saw it. Hi, Patricia.
Your Honor, may we approach it just very briefly for a scheduling issue?
Okay, jurors, feel free to stand up and stretch.
Why do I have a feeling that this is the point that they go to lunch? He thumbs upped it. Now, he could easily say, I did that to let him know I got your message, but he's not. He's not saying that. And if he is, would we honestly believe him? Quick sidebar, my ass. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I know I'm missing your comments, but when they got words like that, I got to focus on the words so I can know when to mute it. So I'm not intentionally missing them.
Go ahead whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sergeant, I'd like to move to a different area.
Good afternoon, Wendy.
At some point during the course of your investigation, you and Michael Proctor interviewed Chris and Julie Albert, correct?
That's correct.
That was at the Albert residence, the Chris and Julie Albert residence, is that right?
Yes,
On or about February 10th, 2022?
yes,
Does that sound right?
it does.
Okay. At any point before or during that interview, did Michael Proctor discuss with you a previous relationship that he and or his family had with Chris and Julie Albert or their family?
Yes, as we're walking up to the door, he stated that he knows them from, he knows of them from around town and through friendship.
Did that cause you any concern that the case officer that had been assigned to the case, dealing with, obviously, involving the Albert family, had a pre-existing familiarity or relationship with any members of the Albert family?
Yes, I followed up asking him if he hangs out with these people, how well he knows them. And he stated that he does not hang out with them. They're not his friends. He just happens to know them through people in town.
Did he tell you any specifics about communications he had related to Chris and Julie Albert?
No, he did not.
Did he tell you any specifics about communications Michael Proctor had with his sister as it pertained to Chris and Julie Albert?
No.
Did he volunteer any information about the relationship that he might have or his family might have, including his wife, with Chris and or Julie Albert?
That information did not come up.
Did you ever later learn, now I'm taking it outside of your conversation with Michael
Anybody
Proctor,
else pull their
did you ever
cashews out?
later learn about friendship or connection that he and his family, Michael Proctor's family, had with Chris and Julie Albert or the Albert family?
I've learned of accusations. I don't know the extent of how familiar they are.
What accusations have you learned?
Through trial or through court proceedings.
Right, what are they? Give me the nature of what you've learned.
Objection.
Sustained, we need a time frame.
Sure. When did you learn of this information?
That was July of 2023, I believe.
And what were the circumstances in which you gained this knowledge?
There's much more.
What did you learn about it?
There were accusations that Michael Proctor had familial friendship with these individuals, but the accusations were not factual.
Thank you
Did
for
you
the
learn any
follow.
specifics
Of
of the allegations? Do you use the word allegations? Or I think you use the word accusations.
yes,
Were there any specifics?
there were.
You just said that what were some of the specifics?
Objection.
Sustained.
Mila's
Well-
here.
By the way, did you say that you learned of these accusations during the last proceeding in this case?
Not the last proceeding. I
Or a
said
prior
Thank
proceeding in this
you.
case?
it was through court proceedings.
Okay, how did you learn that specifically, Sergeant? Did you watch some of the proceedings? Were they televised? Did someone report it to you? What were the circumstances?
I was present in court.
This was what year? 2020, 2023.
Yes,
And did you take any action to investigate further the accusations that you said came up in 2023?
no. Well, yes, I did. Yes.
Okay, what did you do in that regard? What were the accusations and what did you do to investigate?
The information had been learned and that it was not factual. So
Okay, you're using the word
Thank you,
information.
Julie.
Help me out. Details. What'd you learn?
there was claims that
I object.
Sustained.
May we approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
This is okay. We start late.
She should not be saying sustained.
But she is.
Yeah, she's trying to keep information from getting out. She's trying to protect the police.
They're making it worse, in my opinion. They're making it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is immune from the law, even cops. Everybody needs to be held accountable for their actions.
Final question, Sergeant. I think I asked this, but let me make sure I'm clear.
Final question.
Your interview, along with Michael Proctor, with Chris and Julie Albert, was February 10th, 2022, correct?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm not certain on that, but I believe it was.
Okay. Well, let me just clear that up real quick.
I know,
Refresh
exactly.
your recollection to look at your report.
Yes, absolutely.
It's in our face obvious. It's an insult to all of our intelligence. It really is, not alone. Not to mention the family and even Kieran's family.
Thank you.
Does that refresh your recollection, Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
What was the date?
February 10th.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Okay.
follow.
I want to move to back to Canton PD. Did you at some point recover some videos or a series of
Come here, Lucy boy.
electronic data that purported to be videos from Canton PD in furtherance of your investigation?
Yes.
And to whom did you deliver these videos, and whom were they requested by?
The initial request was by Michael Proctor. I delivered them to him.
Okay.
Hi, Mama's boy.
Since that delivery, have you seen these videos?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
What are you doing? Thinks he says hi, guys. Thank you for that.
Well, I'm holding a flash drive that I'd like to have, with the board's permission, I'd like to have marked as next in order for introduction, but I'll play the first couple of seconds of it and just establish the foundation first with the court's permission.
Have you shown it or discussed this with Mr. Brennan?
I've just discussed it with Mr. Brennan at the break.
What's the Commonwealth's position? I have no idea what it is.
Mila's here. She's like, I'm here for
Sure, we can
this.
mark it.
She's
Yes.
above me.
Mr. Brennan said he'd like to review them before they can get entered into evidence. We can mark it for ID for purposes of this examination.
I don't expect no object, I just want to review.
Okay, so we'll mark it for identification, please, Madam Court Reporter.
After Friday's live, I came in here and I saw Mila sleeping on the couch like she was waiting for our Monday live. It was so cute.
Exhibit JG for identification.
Right, baby girl?
Just to establish the foundation so we know what we're talking about, did you see on some of the electronic devices that you picked up in furtherance of this investigation, video of somebody outside, the outside cameras or outside camera view at Canton PD at about 1:30 in the morning on January 29th, 2022?
The digital video, one of the collection items. It wasn't a device. It was, well, I guess it is a device, but the digital storage that was collected had video from external view of the PD. I do not remember specifically seeing an individual, but
Okay.
I did
Do you
review
remember
it.
being of the parking lot area?
Thank you for the
At least
follow.
one of them, one of the clips being of the parking lot area outside Canton PD?
I don't remember seeing outside parking lot. I'd have to see it.
I understand. Do you remember another clip being of the outside Sally Port? There's a pedestrian door, not the big roll-up door, but a pedestrian door, someone going in and out of the pedestrian door?
I know the view you're talking about, but specifically what you're saying, I would have to see the video, tell you if I saw it or not.
And I'm asking a couple of these other questions. I think I may know what the answer is. There's another, do you remember another video being the internal corridor, looking down the hallway, seeing someone walk up or back?
Yes,
Do you
yes.
remember that one?
I do.
Okay, and then one on the outside, again, sort of passing from right to left. It may not be intended to a parking lot, but at least an outdoor view of someone moving from front right to front left across the camera angle.
I don't remember that.
You do remember that all these videos are just mentioned four, we've talked about four. These videos were from January 29th, 2022, around generally 1:30, 1:45, 2 o'clock in the morning.
I'm sorry, I don't remember the exact time and date. I just remember seeing the file and reviewing it.
Do you remember Mr. Proctor asking for a video attendant to January 29th? At least can we narrow it to that date?
From Ken PD?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So these are all from January 29th, 2022. You just don't remember the specifics of them. It's been too long since you've seen them.
I don't know when each video was collected and then reviewed.
Okay.
Exactly.
With the court's permission, well, may I have just a moment to confer with counsel?
Okay.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, I'd ask that what's been marked as GG, at least the first video, be published for the jurors.
All right, so there are 4 videos on this flash drive?
One video, 4 different camera angles as it's set from the one video.
Are you ready to see this now? I thought you wanted to review it.
I'll agree, and if I have a problem, I'll put it. No problem.
All right, so for the first one, the first camera angle?
Correct.
Okay,
It's one video, but 4 different angles.
all right. We just have to keep a record. That's why I'm
Understood.
asking all these
It's a
questions.
little complicated, I get it.
All right, we can do that.
Thank you. And this is, Your Honor, just for the record, actually, let me do it this way. Sergeant, would you agree that we can call this the rear lot main side at Canton PD? Just
Thank you,
for
Marlene.
identification purposes?
Sure, if you'd like. I don't know which side this is, so I can't argue with you about the location. So
Okay.
I'll agree with you that we can call it that.
Great, it looks like a parking lot, there's cars.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, just for purposes of, so it doesn't get complicated, we'll call this rear lot main side. That doesn't mean anything unless you
Welcome
adopt
back.
it, so just for identification purposes.
Thank you.
If we could move to runtime 1:26:32.
We've had 4 days of this, Stephanie. 3 or 4.
Okay, with the court's permission, may I play it at this point?
Okay.
Thank you.
It's like he's allergic to the truth.
Stop. Did you see a car pass in front?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What kind of car did that look like to you?
It looked like a 2-door Jeep Wrangler with a plow on it.
Okay, let's go ahead and play it.
What are we getting ready to see?
Okay, stop. Sergeant, did you, during the course of your investigation, learn whether or not anybody associated with your investigation had a 2-door Jeep Wrangler with a plow on it?
Yes.
Who is
6
that?
to 8 weeks, Barbie.
Mr. Brian Higgins.
Okay, thank you. Let's go ahead and play this.
Why is he by her? Wait, no. Mm-mm. Just when we think there's nothing else, there's something else. What the hell are we watching? Okay, now it looks a little bit more like a blizzard.
Okay, stop. Sir, do you see a person who appears to have alighted from the car,
Yes.
from the Jeep?
We've already seen that, Jody.
Sergeant, if you could turn your attention to the screen on the right. Does that appear to be the location of the person that you're describing?
That's the individual that came out of the vehicle, yes.
Okay. I know it's super blurry. You may not be able to at this point. Do you know who that is?
I do not know.
Okay. Let's go ahead and play it.
Okay.
Okay, stop. All right, did you see the person walk off the screen?
Yes.
Did it appear that that person had something in his or her hands?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
What was in his hands, you guys?
May I have a moment? Thank you, Your Honor. If we could play the second clip on this same GG. Before this is played, Sergeant, do you recognize what's depicted in this photograph?
I do not know.
Okay. Let's go ahead and play this. Stop.
What's in his
What do you
pocket?
see on the video at this point?
An individual crossing the frame with a couple of cars parked, one of which has a plow on it.
Does it look like an exterior video?
Yes,
Does that appear to be an exterior video if you don't know exactly where an exterior video of Canton PD?
from the facilities, yes.
Okay, and describe the person that you see in the foreground at the bottom of the screen.
Appears to be wearing a black sweatshirt, a hooded sweatshirt.
Larger in stature, smaller in stature, can you tell?
I'd be speculating because there's no comparison, but possibly larger. I don't know.
He
Okay,
always does, in my opinion.
and that's it for that. Your Honor, if we could play the next video. By the way, can we agree, before we move off of this, just for identification purposes, can we agree to call this rear lot cruiser side as opposed to rear lot main side, just to keep them separate?
Same as last time. I'm not aware where,
Thank you, Lori.
familiar where that camera is, so I cannot argue with you nor adopt. But if for identification purposes only, we can agree on that.
Can you see from where you are, and I know the answer to this, can you see from where you are the timestamp on the bottom of this?
No.
Your Honor, with the court's permission, it's very, very small. Is it possible to ask the witness to adjourn from the witness stand just to get close enough to see if he can read the?
You can't
He's
increase the
throwing.
size of it?
Maybe we
absolutely
can.
should.
I'm not the tech guy. Mr. Wolk? Magic. Wow. I didn't really know he could do that. Okay, can you read that?
Yes, it says rear lot cruiser side.
Okay, what about the time?
The timestamp reads 1:27:41.
Do you see a date?
Yes,
What is that date?
1/29/2022.
Thank you. This was my fault. Your Honor, if we could move back to rear lot main side, I'd like to do the same thing. I failed to ask for the time and date on that one.
I don't know because some of us didn't watch the first trial. It's part of our oath for being the virtual jury that we self-created. That one, yeah.
Mr. Wolk, if you could, please.
It's driving me crazy to not go back and watch it too.
Is it possible to see from there the time and date?
Yes, the time is 1:27:32 a.m. and the date is 1/29/2022.
Thank you. Okay, if we can move to the third clip. If we can start, Mr. Wolk, by enhancing with the court's permission the time and date, let's just start with that.
Trust me, all weekend
Do
we
you
were
see
talking about
what
wishing we could.
the timestamp designates this camera angle to be?
It appears to be church side. And I can't read the third word there.
Exterior?
Oh, yes, exterior. Sally Port.
Okay, and if you could tell the jurors what you see in terms of the time and date?
The time is 1:27:43 a.m. and the date is 1/29/2022.
Thank you. Mr. Wolk, if you could play that with the court's permission.
Okay. You just strolled right in.
Stop. Do you see a person in that video?
I do.
Although it's somewhat blurry, can you describe that individual for us, please?
I bet
Individual
you he
wearing
doesn't.
dark clothing, possibly. That's the best I could do, really.
Okay. Does it appear, given what you've seen in terms of the time of the main side, cruiser side, and now this exterior church side, does that appear to be the same person moving through on the outside of Canton PD?
It does, yes.
Okay. And what are we looking at here, by the way? What is this door he's about to walk into?
I'd be guessing. I was never present on that side of the Sally Port.
Understood.
I don't know.
Let's go ahead and play this. Okay, and for the final clip,
He works through state. That's Canton.
if
Or
we could
did I
go
miss
down to the
something?
timestamp and date. A little bigger, Mr. Wolk, if you could. Can you see what that is designated as that camera angle?
Yes, it says first floor corridor, and the time is 1:28:03 a.m. on the 29th of January 2022.
Okay,
You guys won't see it correctly. It's correctly for me, but my iPad doesn't allow me to flip the words. Sorry. First floor corridor, 1:28 and 3 seconds, 1:34 p.m. GMT, 5 o'clock, 1:29/2022.
is this the quarter version or video that you did have some recollection of?
Yes, this is, yes.
Okay, if we can go ahead and play this.
What did it say AM? Sorry.
Stop. Do you recognize the person in this video?
It appears to be Mr. Brian Higgins.
Okay, and what is he wearing? Describe it for the jurors.
Black sweatshirt with some sort of logo on the front.
Hold on.
It appears to be blue jeans and shoes with a white trim.
And is the hood up or down on the sweatshirt?
It's up.
Okay, let's go ahead and play this.
You guys want me to go back to see if it was AM or PM? It's dark outside. So,
May I have just a moment? Could you pause this, Mr. Wolk?
it is AM, yeah. It sure the hell does appear to be Higgins, doesn't it? Does anybody... No, we can't ask that. Never mind.
Can you make note of the time as it's paused right here?
AM, yep.
Do you want me to say it again or
Yes,
write
sir.
it down?
Yes, sir.
The time is 1:28:16 a.m.
Okay, and if we could just
Yeah, it's
continue playing this video.
Remember when Higgins went there to make a phone call? We heard about that in opening statements.
It is playing. Stop. Now, if you could take a look at the time now.
I know, me either.
Okay, what's that time?
1:29:42
Okay,
a.m.
and if we could go ahead and go forward.
Persons whose name I cannot say, I have no idea what you just meant by all that.
Is it
Thank
still
you,
playing, Mr.
Acha.
Wolf? Okay, if we could take a look at the time one more time.
Now it's, you want me to say it?
Yes, sir.
1:34:12 a.m.
And in the time, just so the record's
Hello.
clear, in the time between you saying 1:28:16 to 1:34:12, 6 minutes has not gone by, correct?
Just under 6, I believe, yeah.
Well, 6 minutes for us in real time,
Oh, in real time, yeah, no.
it is not. So it
Sorry.
appears that the camera jumped, or the time jumped.
The time difference on what was displayed is approximately 6 minutes, yes.
Okay, which is much further, much longer than the time we've actually been looking at the video, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, so it appears that it may be motion activated and it just jumped.
That's a possibility, yes.
Okay,
yes.
let's go ahead and continue playing this. And stop. Do you see someone in the screen now?
Yes.
And one more time, I know this is laborious, one more time if we could clock the time.
1:34
Can
a.m.
you see that?
No, it's really blurry for me.
There we go.
Yes, now I can see it. 1:34:15, if I'm not mistaken. AM.
Okay, fair enough. And let's go ahead and play this all the way through. Okay.
Where are you
Who
going?
did that appear to be walking away from the camera in this shot?
I'm not certain. I would be suspecting or guessing if I gave you an answer, but I'm not certain who that is.
As best you can determine, does he have the same stature? I know you can't see his face. Same stature, same clothing, jeans, shoes with white stripe around it, dark hooded sweatshirt. Does he appear to be the same person as Brian Higgins?
It does appear that way, yes.
Okay. Is that it? Okay.
They don't show his face.
One more clip I'd ask you to look at on the same GG device.
You guys need better cameras.
Okay. What do you see in this video?
Appears to be the church side sally port, and an individual came out of the door.
Okay, and can we highlight the time, please, or increase the size?
1:34 a.m.
What time do you see there?
1:34:40 a.m.
Okay,
I didn't know they were going to
go
read
ahead and
it.
play this through. Pause. Does it appear from this video that the person has anything in his hand?
I'm sorry, can you play that again? I wasn't looking at the hand, but
Sure, sure.
I really can't tell.
Okay. There should be another video of the rear lock cruiser side. Let's take a look at that. Pause. What do you see in that video?
It appears to be an individual wearing a black beanie hat, black dark colored sweatshirt with some design on it, and something illuminating by his face.
Can we enhance the time, please? What time is that?
It says 1:34 and 53 seconds in the morning, AM.
And if you could move the screen over to the individual.
That is the phone call. That's right.
Does that appear to be the same person?
It could possibly be, yeah.
And does it appear as something in his hands up to his face, the right side of his face or ear?
Yes.
What do you think that is?
It's consistent with a cellular device, possibly a phone or a tablet.
Okay, if we could move on, please. Play that through.
I'm just going to hold it here because I have a feeling we're going to need to see this.
And I believe there's one more video. And Your Honor, this one is a little longer. This is about 10 minutes.
Okay.
With the court's permission, I'd like to play this through. Stop. Do you see a person in the video walking from screen right to screen left?
Yes.
Did that person appear to have something in his right hand?
I can't tell. I can't see his right hand.
Okay. When he first walked into the screen, could you tell?
I couldn't know. I'm sorry.
Mr. Wool, could we back that up with the court's permission about 2 seconds? Stop. Did it appear as something in his hand?
It's a possibility, yes.
Okay. And just for, I'm going to ask you for 2 times when we start and when we stop. What's the time on this video at this point when he walks into frame?
1:35:08.
1:35 and 8 seconds in the morning, AM.
Okay. And let's go ahead and play this through.
He's blending in now. Can't see him. That's what I also thought, Kathy. I'm not seeing him move any cars. Not that they've shown anyways. Yeah, so Karen's vehicle couldn't possibly be there, so what's going on? That's what I'm thinking too. I think it's just they're showing the phone. Thank you, Courtney. So he goes there right after Karen drops him off. Drops John off. Higgins goes to the police station. Parks. Walks in, walks out. We see he's on the phone. So what else are you doing there, Mr. Higgins? What brought you to the police station at 2 a.m.? Can't see him. I can't even see him. Thank you for the follow. Them with those booty dials. I believe that they intended to jump him, and I honestly think that they didn't think it was going to go this way. But then there's also the part of me that is hearing like little whispers, and I'm like, could he have been onto something and they found out about it and they wanted to silence him? Nope, it's not Karen. We don't know that they did, just keep that in mind. But they believe they were pointing to the text messages between Higgins and Karen Reed. They're flirtatious type text messages, possibly being a reason. I know. Here it comes.
Sergeant, at this point, do you see a person walking into the frame into the video from frame left into frame right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
What are you doing? Why did he touch that car's windshield like that? It wasn't. I mean, it would fit everything else if he laid down in the parking lot and made snow angels. I think you're right, John. It would fit everything else, which is a shit show because that's all this has been. Yeah, it doesn't. Nothing does. I have a feeling that John was onto something. And it involved one of their family members.
Can you pause it? Did you see something happen with the vehicle next to the Jeep
Yep.
in the last few seconds?
Yes,
Right, Heather?
What was that?
it appears as though the headlights are activated.
Okay, let's go and play it.
No, I do not.
Okay, pause it. You see a person that is walking from screen right to screen left in the middle of the screen?
Yes, he just, or she just appears to have closed the door on that vehicle next to the plow.
Okay. And walking toward which vehicle?
The one furthest on the left.
Okay, from what you've seen, Sergeant, that you said he or she, does that person appear to be consistent with the video that we've seen in other particulars of Brian Higgins?
As far as I could tell from here, the individual accessed Brian Higgins' vehicle, so I'd be speculating with the whiteout conditions or near whiteout conditions. It's tough to tell.
But no reason to believe it's anybody other than Brian Higgins walking the dog, accessing Brian Higgins' vehicle?
No.
Okay,
No.
let's go ahead and play it.
That's not Mr. Higgins' vehicle. He's getting in this one now.
And what do you see Brian Higgins, or that person doing now?
They accessed the vehicle on the far left.
Okay. And where's that person
Higgins.
going?
Now they're accessing the Jeep Wrangler.
What are you what are you taking out of that truck? Oh, nope. It looks like he might be cleaning off the window now. Yeah, he's cleaning off the window. The Jeep is Brian Higgins. Honestly, it looks like he's cleaning off their windows. Right, Kathy? The leaf blower does great with windows. I mean, that's how they collect evidence in Canton, so why not? I mean, it's part of the Evidence 101 toolkit there. Red Solo cups, stop and stop bags, and leaf blowers. Haven't specified yet whether or not that's Brian Higgins' other vehicle. Because that's how they collected evidence.
Can you pause it?
It's a big
Where
thing
does
with
that
this
individual
case.
appear to be now in the video?
Last I could tell, they might be by the Jeep Wrangler.
Before that person got to the Jeep Wrangler,
Mine
is
too.
he standing by the vehicle on the far left? SUV or truck?
It appeared that way, but with the heavy whiteout snow that night, I can't tell exactly what they were doing.
Did you see anything in his hand, like a bag or a satchel or a duffel bag or something, when that person walked from this vehicle over to the Jeep?
I did not notice, no.
Go ahead.
Knowing what we know in the timeline, you can't tell me this is normal behavior. It's just a coincidence he went there after. No, I don't
Now,
think
has that
so.
person walked off screen to the left?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to try that hard in Canton.
Do you see that
If you're a
person
cop.
entering screen from screen left?
Yes.
No, John, I can't. Because what he's wearing now looks lighter than it did when he was inside. But that could be the trick of lights, I don't know. John, that's brilliant. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's a Cherokee. Those are trucks. But yeah. Oh my God, they do have showers. Maybe they need to go use the leaf blower on the shower drain.
What did you just see the person do?
They were carrying possibly like a snow broom, walking from left to right.
I have no idea. I know, that's why I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Kicking myself. Yeah. If that's the case, then whose vehicle is this that he keeps going to? Is that his original clothes? So that way they can't be connected back to him?
And what do you see happening now?
The Jeep Wrangler's leaving the spot it was parked in.
Wrangler.
Okay. Okay, we can take that down.
Guys, please keep in mind that before we did this case, we did zero research. We were asked to do this case as the virtual jury, and doing so, we cannot look into it at all. And it's driving me just as crazy, trust me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I failed to ask you the time. I promised I would do it, and I forgot again. Can we look at the time real quick?
Yes, the time for the rear lot main side is 1:45:52.
And it appears that's the approximate time that the Jeep Wrangler drove off.
Approximately, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, hold on. I want to go back and look at that because if you're saying that you didn't see a logo on the back of his sweater, you're right.
He's
Hold on.
standing by the vehicle on the far left, SUV or truck.
It appeared that way, but with the heavy whiteout snow that night, I can't tell exactly what they were doing.
Did you see anything in his hand, like a bag or a satchel or a duffel bag or something when that person walked from this vehicle over to the Jeep?
I just punched my
I
desk.
did not notice, no.
Go ahead.
You're right. There is no logo on his back. Yeah, we need one of the sister wives to call their husband because, yeah, there's no logo on his back. You think he just simply turned it around? Let's see. He couldn't have because it's a hoodie. The hood would be backwards too. Recorder? Hold on.
Have the same stature. I know you can't see his face. Same stature, same clothing, jeans, shoes with white stripe around it.
You see it? The big white logo? Let me watch this one where he walks in.
Stop. Do you see a person in that video?
I do.
Although it's somewhat blurry, can you describe that individual for us, please?
Individual wearing dark clothing, possibly. That's the best I could do, really.
Okay. Does it appear, given what you've seen in terms of the time of the main side, cruiser side, and now this exterior church side, does that appear to be the same person moving through on the outside of Canton PD?
It does, yes.
Okay. And what are we looking at here, by the way? What is this door he's about to walk into?
I'd be guessing. I was never present on that side of the.
It was on the front,
Shoes
a logo
with
on the
white
front
trim.
and the
And
back
is the
of his
hood up or
hoodie.
down on the sweatshirt?
It's up.
Okay, let's go ahead and play this. May I have just a moment? Could you pause this, Mr. Wolf?
So not only does one logo not show up on the back, but there's also one missing from the front.
Can you make note of the time as it's paused right here?
Do you want me to say it again or
Yes,
write
sir.
it down?
Yes, sir.
The time is 1:28:16 a.m.
Okay, and if we could just continue playing this video. It is playing. Stop. Now, if you could take a look at the time now. Okay, what's that time?
1:29:42
Okay.
a.m.
And if we could go ahead and go forward.
Same hoodie still.
Is it still playing, Mr. Wolk? Okay. If we could take a look at the time one more time.
Now it's. You want me to say it?
Yes, sir.
1:34:12 a.m.
And in the time, just so the record's clear, in the time between you saying 1:28:16 to 1:34:12, 6 minutes has not gone by, correct?
Just under 6, I believe. Yeah.
Well, 6 minutes for us in real time,
Oh, in real time? Yeah. No.
it is not. So it
Sorry.
appears that the camera jumped, or the time jumped.
The time difference from what was displayed is approximately 6 minutes. Yes.
Okay, which is much longer than the time we've actually been looking at the video, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so it appears that it may be motion activated and it just jumped.
That's a possibility. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
let's go ahead and continue playing this. And stop. Do you see someone in the screen now?
Yes.
And one more time, I know this is laborious, one more time if we could clock the time.
So you guys see it now?
Can you see that?
No, it's really blurry for me.
There we go.
Yes. Now I can see it. 1:34:15, if I'm not mistaken. AM.
Okay,
He
fair enough.
changed, Cat.
And let's go ahead and play this all the way through.
But that doesn't make any sense because this is him walking back outside and he
Who
has
did
the
that appear
logo
to
on the
be
sweater
walking
still.
away from the camera in this shot?
I'm not certain. I would be suspecting or guessing if I gave you an answer, but I'm not certain who that is.
As best you can determine, does he have the same stature? I know you can't see his face. Same stature, same clothing, jeans, shoes with white stripe around it, dark hooded sweatshirt. Does it appear to be the same person as Brian Higgins?
It does appear that way, yes.
Okay. Is that it? Okay. There's one more clip that I'd ask you to look at on this same GG device? Okay. What do you see in this video?
Appears to be the church side Sally Port, and an individual came out of the door.
Okay, and can we
That's what
highlight
I'm
the
thinking
time,
might be a
please?
possibility too.
Increase the size. What time do you see there?
1:34:40 a.m.
Okay, if we go ahead and play this through.
Yes, the individual got in and drove away from in the
Pause.
Jeep. Yeah.
Does it appear from this video that the person has anything in his hand?
I'm sorry, can you play that again? I wasn't looking at the hand, but
Sure.
She's accused of unaliving her boyfriend, who was a cop.
I really can't tell.
Okay. There should be another video
You're welcome.
of the rear lock cruiser side. Let's take a look at that. Pause. What do you see in that video?
It appears to be an individual wearing a black beanie hat, black dark colored sweatshirt with some design on it, and something illuminating by his face.
Can we enhance the time, please? What time is that?
It says 1:34 and
Do you guys want me to let this play through or fast forward to where we were?
53 seconds in the morning, a.m.
And if you could move the screen over to the individual. Mr. Woe. Does that appear to be the same person?
It could possibly be, yeah.
And does promised I would do it, and I forgot again. Can we look at the time real quick?
Yes, the time for the rear lot main side is 1:45:52.
And it appears that's the approximate time that the Jeep Wrangler drove off.
Approximately, yes.
Okay, thank you.
But I thought he called Brian Higgins at 2:27.
In well,
I mean Albert. Sorry.
are you friends with Brian Higgins?
I am not.
Do you know Brian Higgins?
I know who he is, yes.
Have you ever socialized with Brian Higgins?
Like out on private time?
Go out, have a beer,
No.
see him at a bar, hey Brian, let's grab a beer, nothing like that? How long have you known Mr. Higgins?
I'd be speculating. It's before this case, he was a law enforcement individual that worked in the area. So I've had cases where he assisted on and that I've assisted on.
Would you consider yourself to have a professional relationship with him?
I knew who he was, so yes, I would consider it a professional relationship.
But you would not consider your relationship to have gone over to the personal relationship? You don't
Not at all.
socialize, do any
No.
private get-togethers?
No.
Okay.
Are you
Um,
Facebook friends?
You would agree that this video pretty clearly shows, at least at one point, around 1:34 a.m., Brian Higgins was on his phone.
Is
Yep.
that the one that he has the device by his face?
Correct.
It appears that way, yes.
And just to be clear, when you interviewed Mr. Higgins, he did not volunteer to give you his phone, correct?
If his lips are moving, Yuri is lying. If Yuri's lips move, Yuri is lying.
He did not
In my
volunteer, no.
opinion.
And you didn't seek his phone through a warrant or any other mechanism?
I did not know.
Do you have any personal knowledge as to the status of that phone? As we sit here today?
The one that he got the extractions from?
Correct.
No idea, no.
I want to shift gears to another series of videos. Last year at another proceeding, you were asked about a couple of videos from the interior Sallyport garage at Kenton PD. So now we're going to move to the interior. You remember those series of questions and answers that you gave?
Generally,
Okay. You were asked at another proceeding to describe when the SUV, Ms. Reed's SUV, first arrived at the Sallyport garage around 5:30 or so, correct?
based on my recollection of it first arriving or what we were viewing.
What you were viewing?
Objection to this.
Ask it differently, Mr. Jackson.
Do you remember being
Of course you
asked
are,
a series of questions concerning the arrival of the SUV, just in general?
That's what this
I remember that it happened. I don't remember the exact questions or what my answers were.
And you remember seeing a video about which you were asked questions concerning the arrival of that SUV, pulling into the Sallyport, who was who, what the time frame was generally. Do you remember that colloquy, that discussion?
I remember it taking place, yes.
That was Mr. Lally asking you questions, correct?
I believe so.
Under questioning by the Commonwealth, you were asked whether the video that you were looking at fairly and accurately represented the SUV arriving at the Sallyport garage, correct?
Yes,
And you indicated, in fact, it did fairly and accurately depict the arrival of the SUV at the Sallyport garage. Is that right?
that's correct.
We just saw Brian Higgins go to the police station at 1:30 a.m. approximately. Go
I'd
inside
like to ask
and
you
go
a
back
question
out.
about that particular video.
He was on the phone. Sam, did I just see you? I think I did. There's Sam. Hi, Sam. How are you? Now we have both the Samanthas here.
Ron, I'm holding a flash drive. May I approach?
Yes.
I'm gonna have just one drive.
I can't stop thinking of the fact that there's a shower in that station. Now that you guys have brought it up, I can't stop thinking about it. Did he go there to shower to get evidence off of him? And why not with the hoodie? Right, exactly. I'm wondering if he was staying there too. Not necessarily. Not necessarily, but the evidence would still be in his clothes if he put the same clothes on.
Jerry, you know what? Let's take the luncheon break.
Thank you, Ron.
Alright, let's zoom through this. I guess not. What is this?
Yes, okay. May I inquire briefly?
Yes.
Thank you. Sergeant, we were talking before
This is
the
outside
jury
the
left.
jury
We were talking a
presence.
little bit about the conversation that you had with Michael Proctor, either during or just before or just after that first interview with Chris and Julie Albert. What I'd like to ask you is, what information did you have and what did you ultimately learn about their relationship? You said there were some accusations and we never really got to the heart of it. What did you know and what did you do to investigate? Or what did you learn?
What I knew as we were walking up to the door is that he had knowledge of the individuals prior to us conducting the interview. I asked him if he knew them personally. My words, do you hang out with them? Do you socialize with them? He said, no, I do not. I said, "Are you comfortable doing this interview?" And he said,
You did,
"Yes."
Tony.
And me being a complete outsider and his supervisor, and realizing if there was any impropriety, that I would step in and recognize it, report it, and act on that. The interview was conducted without issue, and we moved on.
As a matter of fact, one of the things in Trooper Proctor's report, it said, the report started with following formal introductions. Did that suggest to you that Trooper Proctor had no knowledge of who Chris or Julie Albert were from a personal standpoint?
Not at all. I believe maybe I wrote the report, or was it him?
Yes, I think it is you. I think it is you.
Yeah, so
Yeah, Coach Thomas.
Yes.
Just so you know that.
thank you.
As the virtual jurors, I know we're not supposed to listen to this part, but I'm nosy, so we're going to.
Yeah, since I authored the report, I wrote following formal introductions since I've never met them before.
Okay, so that was more intended to you than to Michael Proctor.
Correct.
Okay, but the report does say we introduced ourselves, basically. Following formal introductions.
Greeted, but I had formal introductions to them. I've never met them before in my life.
You said that subsequently you learned about, your word, accusations that had been made concerning possible relationship between Michael Proctor and the Alberts. What was that information that you learned?
When was it? I need that.
When did you learn it? I thought you said 2023, but I could be wrong. When did you learn that?
It was I believe, during the July motion proceedings when you guys had pictures up of children.
July of what year?
I believe 2023.
Okay. And what was it that you learned in July of 2023 about the potential?
The accusations?
Yeah.
That those were Albert's or McCabe's kids in the photograph with Michael Proctor?
Okay. Did you ever learn about personal communications that Michael Proctor or his wife may have had with any of the Albert family, including Julie Albert?
Ever?
Ever?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me when you learned that and what you learned in that order.
Well, Michael Proctor had communicated with those individuals, Elizabeth Proctor, and communicated with those individuals due to the harassment that they've sustained.
Okay.
So with the crazy behavior that's been imposed on them, and the torturous harassment that they've endured, the traumatic experiences they've had to live through, they've communicated. So I've learned about that, yes. I was taking in all of that evidence, hundreds and pieces of evidence that I've archived in order to
Go ahead. In order to?
investigate it.
Okay. You're talking about Elizabeth Proctor well after the fact of the interview and the incident in
Right.
2022. That's what you were just describing.
It was after the harassment
Okay.
started, yes.
Which is well after January 29, 2022, right?
January 20, yes, it is.
Okay. I'm asking about information related to a relationship prior to January 29, 2022. Did you ever learn about a pre-existing relationship that may have existed between the Proctor family and the Albert family before January 29, 2022, and maybe a couple of days after?
All I know is that there was a relationship explanation provided by Mr. Lally during one of the motions, and it was like 6 degrees separated by individuals residing in the community, living in the community, raising their kids in the community, working in the community, so making them community members and having relationship within that. I don't know the extent of those relationships.
Okay.
Thank you for the
Did you,
follows.
during that hearing where you said there were pictures of the kids and et cetera, that July 2023 hearing, did you see a Facebook post during the course of that hearing wherein the Albert family called the Proctor family their second family? or vice versa, where the Proctor family, Michael Proctor's mother, they've called the Alberts their second family. Remember that Facebook post?
I don't remember seeing that post.
Damn.
I just remember there was like a picture of kids that weren't Michael Proctor's kids.
Okay, but you were in court that day.
I was in court in July. I was 23rd of July, for
Okay.
the motion. Yeah.
Leaving aside the photographs that you've talked about, did you see the post, the Facebook post about those two families, specifically Michael Proctor's mom, saying that the Alberts were their, quote, second family?
I don't remember seeing that post.
That didn't strike you, or that was not in your brain, in your head?
I don't think I've ever seen a post like that. So
Keep in mind, all of this is happening outside of the jury presence, guys.
I just remember seeing the post of the kids. I
What
believe it was
about,
Miss Little that was holding up the poster.
what about the text messages, or what about any text messages between Michael Proctor and his sister concerning Julie Albert, very specifically concerning Julie Albert? Are you aware of those?
No.
Have you ever seen a text message between Julie Albert, between Courtney Proctor and, it's Courtney.
They were sent to lunch. I think he's trying to establish
Michael
a reasoning
Proctor,
for
where
bringing
his
up the
sister
Alberts.
says, Julie wants to give you a gift because you're doing such a great job leading this. Meaning,
Unless Court TV happened to tag it wrong, they have OGP dash outside the jury presence on the screen.
this investigation. Have you heard of that?
No.
Are you aware of a text message in which Michael Proctor responds, get it for my wife? Meaning, if you're going to give us a gift, get the gift for my wife.
No idea.
So Proctor
Are
was
you
getting
aware of a
gifts too.
series of text messages between and among Michael Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor in which they talk about, between Michael Proctor and Courtney Proctor, in which they talk about Julie Albert? This is 10 days before the incident, 10 days before January 29th, so mid-January, where they talk about the possibility of Julie Albert babysitting for Michael Proctor and Elizabeth Proctor's kids.
I am not aware of those text
This is the
messages.
first you've heard of any of those.
Of these text messages?
The text messages that I'm describing, have you ever heard of any of those?
No.
Okay. Did you ever talk to or investigate the circumstance of the possibility, even the remote possibility, that Michael Proctor may have had a relationship with the Alberts that you were unaware of?
No, I never investigated anything like that.
So after your initial conversation with Mr. Proctor, where he said, I know of these people, and you said, is there any issue with you going forward? And he said, no, there's no issue. You took no further steps after that to investigate that relationship. And I'm talking about the relationship that existed on or around January 29th, 2022, not in 2023, not in 2024.
Once Michael Proctor stated that he was comfortable conducting the interview, and I asked him if he was sure, and he said yes, we moved on.
Yeah, just a moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
This means they're going to have a lot longer of a lunch. Because they all still got to eat too. I don't understand why we're doing this outside the jury's presence. I guess it's to establish a certain line of questioning, but it could be any reason. They didn't tell us, so.
Two questions. Were you in court?
Mhm.
I know you indicated that you've never heard about these text messages. Were you in court in February of 2024 following the federal investigation revelation, the documents that we got from both sides got from the federal investigation, which revealed, and was revealed in open court, the text messages about gift giving between Courtney Proctor and Michael Proctor? Hey, Judy wants to get you a gift, and Michael Proctor's response was, get it for Elizabeth, or get it for my wife. And were you in court when those were revealed?
I wonder how his wife feels knowing now that he was looking for nudes on another woman's phone.
Following the harassment, intimidation that I experienced on the 23rd, being followed into the bathroom, then being followed outside, I stopped coming to court proceedings due to that. So I was not in court in February of 2024.
I'm not sure,
and
Courtney.
describing the information that you're revealing. I was not aware of that
Did you,
detail.
but all of these proceedings are televised, Sergeant, you know that, right?
I'm not aware that it's televised now.
Bullshit.
I know it streams, but I'm not aware that it's televised.
Okay, streamed, however, whatever you want to call it, streamed on the internet, you can find it.
You can, yes.
They're recorded.
Right.
Did you ever review the, hearing in February 2024, talking about what's been referred to as the Fed dump and the revelations that were made pursuant to that federal investigation and the text messages attendant there too?
I am aware of a Fed dump. I'm aware that it exists. I was not privileged to any information outside of the information that was revealed to me during the internal affairs investigation.
Right.
That was the first time I saw documents from that federal investigation.
By the way, were you privy to, Michael, there were three individuals involved in the investigation, yourself, Lieutenant Tully, and Michael Proctor, is that right?
I was thinking that too.
What
The
investigation?
internal affairs investigation.
I'm aware that I was. I know they were as well. I don't know who else might have been involved. I don't know.
But in terms of your awareness of Michael Proctor's investigation, you're aware, obviously, that he was terminated, correct?
I am aware that he's terminated, yes.
Did you ever see or were privy to any of the documents or investigative materials associated with his termination as his supervisor?
No.
So nothing was ever shared with you, the final decision?
Other than the documents that he was attached in the text message that I was shown from that investigation, nobody showed me anything of his investigation.
Okay, so let's wrap this up.
I'm so sorry to hear that, Rosalinda. Nobody should.
Okay, that was basically all.
Okay, all right. Do you want to be heard, Mr. Jackson?
No.
Okay, yeah, I'm not letting any of this in.
I think it's all admissible, but I understand the court's ruling was if he doesn't have personal knowledge of it, and didn't have it then you're not gonna let it in, it's over our objection, but that's been noted.
Okay, so you got your voir dire, and I'm glad we fleshed it all out. So you have to be back here in 35 minutes. Right? When's the jury coming back, Paul?
20.
The way she said that, you got your voir dire. Why is she saying it all snotty? Well, many of us will have different opinions on that. Let's see, how long were they actually gone for? But this case is driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy that we can't look into this. It's driving me crazy that we said we wouldn't. I need to look into this. It's driving me crazy. It's time for a face mask. Are they playing elevator music? That's just their way of telling us all that we're all hot. They show us the fan to tell us that we're all hot.
All right, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you, Your Honor. That letter must be voted house with GG for identification.
This will make it further than a Netflix movie. Much further than a Netflix movie. Well, it depends. We saw Brian Higgins go to the police station. We saw him on the phone. He went inside. We don't know what he did in there. Yeah, I'm heated too. I am too. We need more than that. This will make it into... This will be a movie that with, in my opinion, it'll make it into a movie with more than one release.
Yes.
I'm gonna do the Medicube face mask today, guys.
May I inquire? I'm so sorry. I did it again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, go right ahead, Mr. Jackson.
Thank you. Just before the lunch break, Sergeant, I asked whether you had engaged in a discussion with the Commonwealth at a prior proceeding in which you were shown a video and you talked about the fairness and accuracy of that particular video in the Sally Port when the SUV was first pulled in. And you indicated that you did indicate that it was fair and accurate, correct?
Yes, back then, yes, yeah.
I want to play a copy, a bit of that video if I could, please, with the court's permission.
Is it in evidence?
It is not. I would ask that we mark next in order. Thumb drive.
Are we marking this for
More than 3.
identification, or is there an agreement it's going to be evidence?
I'd like it in evidence.
We agree with the stipulation that it's authentic.
I'm not going to argue metadata issues or authenticity issues, so.
All right, so is there a stipulation that this is authentic? Okay, so, folks, again, a stipulation means the parties agree, and with that, I will allow this into evidence as the next exhibit. Madam Court Reporter?
Mr. Jackson, is this it?
That's it.
Exhibit 118?
Okay, now you may display it.
Thank you. Okay. Could we play beginning, what's the runtime, Mr. Wolk? This is at 5:37:03. If we could just play this forward for a couple of seconds.